Nobody wants to admit having fired the first shot, but that doesn't change the fact that after decades of simmering tensions, Thailand and Cambodia are embroiled in a dangerous military confrontation. It's not a war, the two countries insist, at least not yet. Tens of thousands have been displaced since cross-border fighting broke out on Thursday, and frantic efforts have been underway to de-escalate. Tonight, we talk to our correspondents on the ground and ask how the U.S. and China could end up getting involved. I'm Nicole Furlich in Berlin, and this is The Day. Thailand and Cambodia could be moving towards war, warns the acting Thai Prime Minister. Tensions over a decades-old border dispute have been flaring up between the neighbors who've been exchanging artillery fire for a second consecutive day. On Friday evening, a Thai border commander declared martial law in 8 districts along the frontier, citing Cambodia's use of force to enter Thai territory. Malaysia, Thailand's neighbor to the south, has weighed in to de-escalate, putting a ceasefire proposal on the table that's now under consideration. In the meantime, over 100,000 people caught in the crossfire on both sides of the border have fled their homes. Our correspondent Georg Matthes is in the Thai city of Ubon, near the Cambodian border, and met those affected by the violence.
It took just seconds, and the explosion flattened the entire shop. This is the gas station where 12 people were killed, the deadliest Cambodian attack on Thai civilians so far in over a decade. Since then, the entire border with Cambodia has been shut down and placed under tight military control.
Tensions are running high and both sides are still in a standoff. People need to evacuate 40 to 50 kilometers away. That is the Cambodian firing range.
The Thai towns along the border, once bustling, now look completely deserted.
Normally home to about 200,000 people, Kantalak, which is just behind the gas station, feels like a ghost town. Most people have cleared out after the government urged them to evacuate. And those left behind told me they heard gunfire throughout the night.
This farmer and his family managed to leave during the first wave of evacuations. Now he's glued to the news.
I want both sides to sit down and talk, and to do it soon. We all have livestock to take care of. I just want people to love each other again like before.
Across the border in Cambodia, people fleeing Thai air raids are just as desperate for a ceasefire.
Yesterday I was cooking rice, and when I heard the sound of gunfire I was so scared. I was looking after 2 grandchildren, so I was crying along the way.
May I ask Thailand and Cambodia to negotiate a settlement as soon as possible so that I can return to my home and work on the farm.
In this Thai shelter alone, 1,600 people have taken refuge, many left with just a blanket and their phone. Providing food and care for everyone has become a huge logistical challenge, according to the village chief. At least there's now enough clean drinking water thanks to filtering equipment supplied by the Thai army. Back at the gas station, cleanup crews haven't dared to arrive. The woman living next door came back just to collect her car. She still can't believe so many missiles hit the area.
One went off over there and one landed right in my backyard. My employees saw it. 2 more hit the 7-Eleven.
Now she's terrified more strikes could follow and that this long-running border dispute might spiral even further, turning 2 neighbors that should be allies into enemies.
And journalist Tommy Walker is currently in Surin, also at the Thai-Cambodian border, and told us more about the situation there.
On the ground, I mean, we've heard all day of incoming and outgoing artillery. It's been very noisy, and certainly in the red zones near to the border of Cambodia, there's still thousands of people who have been evacuated in recent days because of the conflict. They're staying in makeshift shelters, including local universities, old, decades-old bunkers. So the situation is very much live at the moment. It's late now. However, we will see more about what happens in the coming days, about whether this conflict continues and whether we can see if there's going to be an end to any sort of hostilities.
The Cambodian Prime Minister actually claims that Thailand agreed to a ceasefire and then backed out again. What can you tell us about that?
I mean, for right now, I would take that with a pinch of salt. I mean, Thailand's government and Cambodia governments, they trade insults and accusations regularly, or certainly regularly in recent weeks and months. The more recent information from the Thai Ministry of Foreign Affairs is Thailand has agreed in principle to a ceasefire. We have to wait to see whether that will play out. It'll be interesting to see in the coming days whether the conflict stops. These words diplomatically can mean one thing, but actually stopping the fighting and for people getting hurt and injured and evacuated is another thing. So we'll have to wait to see whether this ceasefire in principle comes to play.
Tens of thousands have fled the border region out of fear of being caught in the crossfire. Many were evacuated, and you were at an evacuation camp yesterday when I last spoke to you. What have people there been telling you?
Yeah, actually, I've been to 2 evacuation camps in the last day. We went to Buriram and also here in Surin. People are just in limbo. They really are in shock that how quickly things escalated. You know, it was within 1 or 2 hours when authorities told them that the conflict had begun. They had to leave the area and they had to pick up or bring as many personal items as quickly as possible to get out before any risk was to occur. So people are in shock. They're in limbo. They're staying in, local universities on the floor, in hammocks, in tents. They're trying to be as comfortable as possible. But of course, it's uncomfortable for them. And again, the main issue for them is just the uncertainty about whether they can ever go back home. Or, sure, they'll go back home, but when that will be.
Yeah, we don't have answers to that, but maybe to my next question, because this conflict had been simmering for a very long time. What exactly happened to trigger this escalation now?
Thailand and Cambodia have long had border disputes, territory disputes for decades. But in recent months, these sort of disputes have flared up. In May, there was a brief exchange of gunfire, which led to 1 Cambodian being killed. This led to political chaos in Thailand, which is another story. But between Thailand and Cambodia, they closed borders, they massed troops for security reasons, really tit for tat. But then in recent days, the watershed moment was when Thailand accused Cambodia of planting landmines along the border. These landmines actually injured several Thai soldiers, and that's kind of seen as the spark to what's led to this outbreak of conflict.
How big a role does Thailand's domestic political crisis play here?
Thailand has, like you said, it's got a political crisis. Its economy is poor, and that sort of centres around the politics as well. I don't think either country can afford a war here. I think this is something that's got out of hand. There is definitely tension there. But I do think that Thailand's politics have played a part. We are seeing that Paetongtarn Shinawatra has been suspended by the Constitutional Court under investigation for a phone call with Cambodia's former Prime Minister Hun Sen. It all ties in. However, what that means for Thailand is that they actually don't have a Prime Minister who's actually doing the duties. There is the caretaker Prime Minister, Puntam. He is a former Defence Minister, so he's doing the best he can at the moment. But it just shows there's a lack of stability right now. And again, even we talked about the people on the border, but there's a lack of uncertainty with the politics in Thailand too.
Mm-hmm. Let's look at the geopolitical entanglements for a second, because Thailand is a U.S. ally and Cambodia has very close ties to China. Could these superpowers potentially get dragged into the conflict in some form?
I don't think so. This is a border conflict. No one expects this to be a full-scale war. I know there's been comments from Puntam saying it could lead to a war, but I think that's a strong stance. And no one expects it to go to that. As mentioned, Thailand and Cambodia have their own issues. US and China are not going to get involved in conflict ways, but we might see US President Donald Trump get involved to try and solve this. We've seen this before with his policy of trying to solve conflicts throughout the world. That might be on the agenda for him. As for China, they will sort of try to be a peacemaker because they are the biggest superpower in the region. But I don't think they'll be getting to it. I don't think the US and China would get involved in terms of anything more serious than that.
This journalist Tommy Walker reporting from the Thai-Cambodian border. Thank you so much and be safe.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
I'm joined now by Joshua Kurlantzick. He's a senior fellow for Southeast Asia and South Asia with the Council on Foreign Relations, a think tank in the U.S. Joshua, both Thailand and Cambodia are saying they want to stop the fighting. What are you hearing about efforts to resolve the conflict?
Well, I think Cambodia wants to stop the fighting because if it continues, they're so much weaker than the Thai military that they'll continue to suffer. I doubt that Thailand's military may want to not have days of multiple people killed and may want to slow down this pace. I don't think they necessarily want to resolve this because a large part of this conflict is not about the temple or anything like that, but it's about the Thai military stoking a conflict in order to give itself more power, while the civilian government in Thailand flails and the military's increasing power raises the possibility that the military will become more directly involved in politics in one way or another, the most obvious way being potentially a coup down the road.
Now, Thailand has warned that this conflict could escalate to a full-blown war. What would a war between Thailand and Cambodia look like? You just mentioned that Thailand has a much stronger military than Cambodia.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really a possibility. I mean, Thailand is vastly larger, vastly richer, and possesses an enormous range of sophisticated arms that have been sold to it by the United States over the years and many other suppliers. And it wouldn't be a war. I mean, Thailand's military has a lot of problems with corruption, with meddling in civilian politics. But if they actually had a war with Cambodia, there would be nothing. They would just roll over the border and crush the Cambodian forces.
Well, it's not just these two countries. Of course, they also have their allies. Thailand has close relations with the U.S. Cambodia is backed by China. Could the two superpowers be drawn into a wider conflict?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. And actually, sorry, but I think that framing isn't accurate anymore.
Okay.
Thailand is closer to China now than the United States, despite the fact it is technically a U.S. treaty ally. And Thailand has an acrimonious relationship with the Trump administration. And it's true that Cambodia is very close to China, almost a client state at this point. China could potentially mediate between the two, but I don't think Thailand wants that. But the U.S. and China are not going to be drawn into this in a significant way.
Joshua Kurlantzick with the Council on Foreign Relations. Thanks for talking to DW.
Thanks. Anytime.
Our correspondent, Georg Matthes, joins me now from a refugee camp near Ubon Ratchathani on the Thai side of the border. Georg, what's happening where you are right now?
We had artillery fire here for a third day in a row now. Again, this night, heavy fighting along the border here in Udon Thani and particularly Sisaket. The main fighting now has moved to two provinces in the southeast of Thailand, particularly Trat province, where the Cambodian side has also, the naval forces have reported that there are casualties on their side. There's disputing numbers about the casualties here. Thailand has said by now over 100 Cambodian soldiers have died. If you listen to the Cambodian side, it's about 30. And really the concern here, whoever I talk to, is that this conflict could spiral out of control, that is really going into a prolonged conflict here.
Thailand is also in a political crisis right now. What role does that play in the conflict?
Well, I'm one of the refugee centers. I'm at one of the refugee centers here close to Ubon Ratchathani with about 1,000 people here. If you talk to people, mainly everybody shares that concern that they will have to stick here for much longer than they thought. People came here and thought they would stay maybe one night, maybe 2 nights. At the moment, what the number they are given is 5 nights. But the real concern is, and these are mostly normal people like farmers, people working in factories. They all want to return home and take care of their things. And so the concern really is that they brought too little. They just have a blanket. They haven't brought a lot of things, and they're really concerned how long this will drag on.
I know we're having some connection difficulties. I do want to talk to you about the political side of this, because Thailand is in a political crisis, and I'd like to understand a little better what that has to do with this conflict and how that plays out with this conflict.
Well, to give you a concrete example, is right now here at the refugee center is where Thaksin Shinawatra is visiting. It's his birthday today. He is a former political leader of the country, father to the suspended ex-prime minister of this country, Paetongtarn Shinawatra. And this gives you a feeling for the political dimension. It's not just a row between 2 countries, it's also a row between 2 political dynasties. On the one hand, the Hun Sen family in Cambodia, and on the other hand, the Shinawatra family in Thailand. These used to be 2 strong allies, these 2 political families, and now they have gotten into this row ever since the Hun Sen publicized a private phone call between the Thai leader, then Thai leader, and his son and himself, where she tried to appease things, but a phone call that led to her suspension. And ever since, there is a serious row between these 2 families, and many people here say that this is fueling the conflict that already is complicated enough.
With somewhat of a political power vacuum in Thailand, is this conflict also a chance for Thailand's military to reassert its influence?
Well, the Thai military is always an important factor here, but if you talk to experts, it is not just that. As I mentioned, you have this row between the 2 political dynasties here. You have serious interests, obviously from the military, but also from other elites in Thailand. You have a political crisis. You have huge economic pressure at a time when, for instance, ASEAN, the Organization of Southeast Asian Nations, has a real interest to negotiate together and a coherent effort to negotiate better trade deals with the American side. And it is at this time that this conflict has broken out. So the concern here really is that enough pressure can be put to both sides. And clearly with the Thai military here, you have the dominant side that they clearly in the military field dominate this conflict. So the concern is that there will be enough pressure to bring both sides to a table. I just read a statement from Hun Manet, the Cambodian leader, who said he basically agreed with the head of ASEAN, a ceasefire with the Thai side, but that has been violated by the Thai side. If you listen to the Thai side, the opposite is true. It's the Cambodians who keep firing at them. So at the moment, we're in a real deadlock where both sides are still engaged in a serious fight.
Georg Matthes reporting for us near Ubon Ratchathani in Thailand. Thanks, Georg. We'll be checking in with you again soon.